VC, hello. I thought it was about time I made another video for the vinyl community, so here goes. I plan in this video to do basically the same sort of thing I did in my previous video, to talk about some record listening experiences over the last 12 months that have been in one way or another superior or spectacular. And especially where I feel that the vinyl format has somehow added to the experience and made it even more special. So the first records I'm going to talk about today might be a bit controversial. I'm going to talk about now it won't be controversial that I'm talking about Genesis and Genesis albums, because I'm sure there are a lot of Genesis fans out there. But these ones that I've listened to quite recently are the 2008 remixes, the reissues. I've got this one and the beginning of the Steve Hackett, Phil Collins period with Nursery Crime and Foxtrot. And I got this one as well, which I haven't listened to yet, Lamb Lies Down on Broadway, of course. I've listened to all of those albums before, but listening to them in this form has been really eye-opening. I said it's a bit controversial because this 2008 mix is, I believe, a digital mix, and for analog purists, the idea of listening on vinyl to something that's been mastered digitally is something they might look askance at. I can only report my experience of it, and that's that it was it sounded really wonderful in terms of the mix and the mastering. And what was most astonishing about it was how quiet the pressing was. It was astonishingly quiet, and just a wonderful listening experience. And as I said, I've listened to those albums before, but I never appreciated them in the way that I appreciated them listening on those vinyl, the 2008 pressings. Next album I'd like to talk about is this one, Focus at the Rainbow. Let me get that on the screen there. This is a 1973 live recording at the Rainbow Theatre in London. The reason that I'm showing this one is because listening to this, the performance was wonderful. I love the band. The crowd reaction was great, and the recording was terrific, and I just felt like I was there. And it made me think what a wonderful thing this recorded music is, that I can listen to something that happened 40 years ago and feel like I'm there and feel the passion and enjoy the beauty of the music. And so that was another wonderful listening experience. And another one on a similar vein is this one by Johnny Hodges and Wild Bill Davis on the organ. Johnny Hodges, of course, the alto player, so long with Duke Ellington's band. I hate this. Where is it? It's on the other side there. The sticker. I hate it when they're going to make discount records. They put stickers on the covers that you can't get off. But anyway, this is a performance where, according to the liner notes, Johnny Hodges was on holiday in Atlantic City with his wife and went to this performance by Wild Bill Davis and just sat in. And a producer happened to be there who recorded the the performance, I don't know how realistic that explanation is, but it's a terrific live recording, wonderful performances, and a group of musicians who sound like they're just really enjoying playing together. It's on Black and White, which is a French label reissuing some RCA recordings. And I've got another one on this label by Paul Gonsalves, which is also terrific. Okay, well, next I'm going to talk about somebody that pretty much everyone in the vinyl community knows, and that's Derek Higgins. And I can't talk about my special listening experiences of the last 12 months without talking about Derek's music, because it certainly was a wonderful experience listening to his records and discovering his music. I've got a number of records for him. I've got Nice, the most recent release. I have In Dreamers album, the band, Derek's band, with Nick Fackler and others. But the one I want to talk about is Sonospheres 2, which Derek himself acknowledges is his best work, and I agree. It seems to me that it signals this signals a musician entering a golden period of his musical creativity. It's when I say it's a lot better than the previous albums, I think the other albums, the music is terrific, but this is just a leap ahead in terms of its sophistication, its creativity, its playfulness, but it's also very balanced and mature. And I heard somebody else on a VC video, I'm sorry, I can't remember who it is, reviewing this record and saying that he had put it on in the background, intending to just have it on in the background while he was doing other things, and he found that he had to stop what he was doing because his attention was being drawn to the music, and that's the sign of superior art, when it grabs somebody's attention even when they are not intending to devote their attention to it. So I really recommend this record, and I'm looking forward to future releases from Derek. This is related to Derek because this is a record that I would not have bought if not for Derek's review, and there's been a lot of records like that, and one day I might do a video totally devoted to that, to records that I've bought because they've been reviewed on the VC or mentioned on the VC Facebook page. There are a lot of records like that, more and more all the time, but this is one that was a particularly outstanding listen. It's Keith Jarrett, Hymns, Spheres, and it's Keith Jarrett playing a pipe organ, church organ. I wouldn't have bought it because I have an ambivalent attitude to church organs, to pipe organs. I have recordings of organ music, great classical organ music, Bach and Handel and so forth, and I appreciate it for its majesty, but it always seems a little cold and impersonal. It's not sort of on the human scale. It makes me think of vast inhuman spaces like cathedrals that can be very alienating and impersonal, and so I feel a little bit like that about organ music. And I'd heard a track from this on the ECM collection of Jarrett's work Rarum, I think they call that series Rarum, series that was put out on the anniversary. I can't remember, the 30th anniversary or something of ECM, and I didn't listen to it carefully, but because of Derek's recommendation, because he said that, you know, this is really terrific spiritual music, I decided to give it a go. I spotted it in a store that I was in, and it was cheaper than it would normally be, even though it wasn't really cheap. It was discounted, so I decided to grab it, and I'm glad I did. It's really terrific music, and what Keith Jarrett does in the way that he can do, and doesn't always do, but can do, is to find a way of bringing out the intimate and personal and spiritual in the way that he plays the instruments that he plays, and he does that with the organ, finding new ways to play it, ways that are quite unusual and not traditional ways of playing it, and some of the sounds that he produces aren't the sort of sounds that you would hear in classical organ music or church organ music. But that's terrific. It's a double album. It doesn't show up very well, this grey on the recording, on the video, but anyway, I recommend that. Finally today, I'm going to mention Henry Cow. And I'm going to mention it because Henry Cow is a band that I had heard of and I thought I might like to listen to. And the first time I listened to it was this album, which is Unrest. So many of them have a sock on the front. It's not, and it's not easy to know which is which. This is Unrest, and this is the first one I listened to, and I forked out quite a bit to buy the album and took a risk, and I'm glad I did. It's wonderful music, and it sounded really so crisp and clear on this pressing. It's a reissue. It's I've since listened to more Henry Cow, and it's also led me into the whole rock in opposition area with bands like Universe Zero and the Art Bears and others in that whole group of bands from that period. So it's led me into a whole sort of mini sort of genre of music as well, and I may not have gone further if I hadn't listened to it in this particular form. So that's it. I've come in at under 15 minutes, which is what I wanted to do. So that's it for today. Thanks for watching.